on how media has a big role in teenage pregnancy and how it's just all over the place, and society doesn't really look down upon teenage pregnancy, but it is focused on a lot. And half the time it's kind of glamorized, like the secret life and how everything kind of works out and everything's fine. But then there also is the programs like 16 and Pregnant and Teen Mom that shows how the before and afterwards of getting pregnant and then having the baby and how it can really affect your life and change it all the way around.
Statistics. We did some research and we came up with the dropout rates for teenage girls who get pregnant. Pregnancy is the #1 reason why girls drop out of school. 70% of teenage girls who give birth leave school. And also, teen moms are most likely to end up on welfare. And the cost of childbearing is greater for younger teens.
So we came up with a list based on a worksheet that Heather did in health last year, and it's basically all the costs after you have a baby. So, over a year, hospital costs, formula, so on. And so here are all the costs,
and then that top number is all of those added up, and once again it was over a year. And then the bottom number is the total of a year's wage, minimum wage. We use Tyler's job, for example, working 5 days a week, 4 to 5 hours, and that's what we came up with. So obviously there's a lot more that you need if you're going to have a baby.
Obviously being a teen mom, like being pregnant in high school is going to affect your education a lot. Like just being a girl, you're really aware, like your appearance and stuff like that without being pregnant, and you get stressed out really easily. So just like adding all the emotions and hormones that come with being pregnant is just gonna like make everything 10 times worse. And not to mention you getting sick all the time and stuff like that. So it definitely has like a negative effect on your learning.
so we researched and found 2 examples for charter schools that are for pregnant teens, like when they're pregnant and afterwards, so they can go there. And Baby High and Polly Fox Academy, that's their names. And basically, especially Baby High, they offer a lot of special programs for these girls, such as parenting classes, on-site daycare, healthcare clinics, and buses with car seats, all these things that will make their education easier for them and their child. And then I found some ones in St. Louis and New York, but obviously they're all around the U.S. And Baby High had a 1-hour special on MTV, and so
It's actually like tap. Tap.
Yeah,
It's the same thing as Baby High.
right, that's
Yeah.
like the real. Baby High was the
The name of the special.
name of the
And what I can do is link this PowerPoint so they can look at that
Can I ask a question?
video. Yeah.
Do you, I don't know, is it charter, do you pay for the school or no? To
Um,
go to charter school?
Some you have to pay for, but some like TAP is completely free. You don't have to pay to get into that program.
It's kind of like if you're pregnant, then you can like apply.
Exactly. Only 240 girls got enrolled in 1 year though. Yeah.
It's selective.
Yeah.
How do they decide like which girls get in versus other girls?
I'm sure there is some sort of like screening process. Well, I would hope so, because it's a selective program, so it's not going to be like just anyone. I'm sure you have to have like a certain like grade point average and
Yeah.
interview.
But they didn't have a specific like requirements or anything.
Oh.
Let's go on with the PowerPoint, and I'll link this, and if you guys want to see about those programs, you can click on that link. Okay?
So we're not showing our video.
Let's go on to
Tyler's mom was a teen mom. She got pregnant at 16, and so Tyler interviewed her and asked some questions. This is the interview.
Thank you for doing this interview for me. Okay, first question is, how old were you when you got pregnant, and in what year in school?
I was 16 years old, and it was the summer right before my senior year.
When you went back to school, did you have a job when you were pregnant, and about how many hours a week did you work?
When school started that August, I did have a job, and I can say that I worked at least 10 hours during the week, and like 20 hours during the weekend. All while I was pregnant. I was working before I got pregnant, so yeah.
Okay. When you went back to school, were grades hard to maintain, and did work affect your grades a lot?
When I went back to school while I was pregnant, my senior year, work didn't affect my grades much. I think I was affected by most was being pregnant, because when you're pregnant, especially in the first trimester, you're sleepy and tired. You don't want to get up, in the morning. You're just drained. So that's the only thing that affected me was doing school in the first trimester.
Okay. After you had the baby, how long were you out of school?
I had you, Tyler, January 28th, and I was in hospital about 2 weeks because I had a fever, couldn't get the fever down. So after I went home, I was out at least 2 months because my mom had to make sure that we got the daycare provided for you, so I go back to school and she could go to work. So I think I went back to school at the end of February, 1st of March.
Wow. Okay. How were grades harder to keep up? Like, were they harder to keep up after you went back to school after?
Yes, it was hard while I was pregnant, but it became harder because after I had you, I didn't have a lot of time. When I go to school, come home, my mom, when I go to school, my mom picked me up from school, and she would already pick you up from daycare, and I have to take care of you. So the only time I can do homework or get my studies up to par is after you go to sleep, and infants just didn't go to sleep when you want them to go to sleep. So it was very hard for my mom and my sister helped me out. I had a twin sister, so while I was out of school, after I had you, Miss Delonte, she would bring home my homework and, stuff that I was missing. So she helped me out a lot. It was very good.
Okay. So, when you did go back to school, you said you did miss a lot of school days, like sporadically.
Yeah, because of course babies are babies and they get sick, So when you're sick, I have to stay at home with you. And my mom couldn't because she had to work to provide for us. So yeah, I missed a lot of days, and of course I had to make those days up. Back then we didn't have parents online. We could go online and get assignments. Everything had to be sent home. If my sister didn't get it, I would have a friend to bring it. Where I would have to go up to the school on my own, or have to take extra classes and stuff. So, yeah, I missed a lot of days.
Okay. So obviously you stayed in school and didn't drop out. How much of a difference do you think your life would be if you would have dropped out?
If I would have dropped out of school.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have dropped out of school, just giving it up, it would be very, very difficult right now. I'm very blessed to have had a good support system at home. Because my mom that encouraged me and told me to hold my head up high, not to think about what other people could feel about me. Get your grades. If I would have dropped out of school, it would have been just horrible because you can't get a job nowadays without a GED or a diploma. So we wouldn't be where we are right now. I wouldn't be where we're at right now. And that's why I encourage you to continue to make good choices.
Okay. And that is all my questions. Thank you for doing this. Say bye. Okay, for our intervention method, we proposed that we have more schools like TAP and Polyfox Academy, like somewhere around Kansas City. And we want to make it to where it's not really glorified, like you're not condoning teenage pregnancy, but we just want to be able to give the teenage girls a chance to graduate and like fix the dropout rates.
Okay, so we're going to, after 5 years of having the schools in place, we're going to check back and see how much the dropout rate and graduation rate are effective, and hopefully it's like positive. And we're also going to make sure the curriculum is being enforced, and we will also like check in between the 5 years. And so that is our measurement.
This is an ad we decided to use. It's Bristol Palin and her historian. It says how 750,000 teenage girls will become pregnant this year.
Wait, I think we skipped something. Oh, there you go.
There it is.
Okay.
Skipped over a slide.
Make sure you have the second video.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Out.
You're not going anywhere. You got diapers to change, bottles to fill, and I've got a nasty rash on my butt.
I haven't seen my friends in weeks.
Well, I've had diarrhea for weeks, so get over here and wipe my tushy.
And you thought your parents were controlling? Don't let a teenage pregnancy take away your freedom. Pause before you play.
Okay, let's talk about this as opposed to writing a paper. Remember when you wrote your paper on the at-risk behavior? How does this differ, and do you think the objectives can be covered as well?
Yeah, much better. It was hard to like have like 4 of us write a paper, whereas
Okay.
like the PowerPoint with all the research that they did and like how they're able to show it like more visually, I think it was also more interesting and got the point across a lot better.
Yeah,
Okay.
I went back and I read our paper from our portfolio. It's really choppy between paragraphs just because like our writing styles are so different that when you put them together, it just doesn't have that flow. And like Piper tried to make it a little more transitional, and just you can't do that.
Okay, and, oh, go ahead.
Didn't we like have to, when we presented it, did we have to have like an outline or something? Like how did we present it?
You didn't, you read each other's. So that's what I want, yeah, so this is more interactive, and now Tyler, you mentioned, because I asked the question yesterday, do you think you got as much out of this as you would have if you had written the paper? And Tyler, you kind of wavered on that. Can you expand on that?
What did I say?
Well, you kind of said, I don't know if I
think we, I don't know.
I think you like get more like in depth because it had to be so long. Like it had to be kind of longer.
for the paper?
Yeah, with this you just get the main points and like what you're trying to say, but with the paper we had to like elaborate and stuff. So I think you probably like learn a little bit more. But I thought that was way better.
Okay, okay.
For
How
us, we kind of like, we knew everything, but just kind of just emphasized on some things and kind of made it more like realistic almost.
Okay, and you obviously had a long bibliography,
I feel
a
like
lot of
having the
sources.
statistics on the board, like on its own slide, made it more impactful. It's in our paper; they're just kind of buried in it. Like this, it was like a slide, and it's like just statistics, and it made it more like.
So how could we make the learning of doing the paper and the in-depth come through in the presentation? What could we have done differently to make that connection? Any suggestions?
Well, I don't think it needed to be more in depth.
Yeah,
Cause like
that was really
that's
good.
like the stuff we want. Like I would want to know about like the schools and like things like that. I don't, cause like I remember when we wrote our paper, there was just like a bunch of statistics that were like.
I feel like in our
Right.
paper, we looked more at the negative side. They looked at the positive
Yeah.
side, how there are already people trying to help them, like try to go back into the world once this happens. But they also looked at like the cost and be like, you can't do
I think
it.
they had like more room by doing a presentation like this to give both kind of the negative but also the positive side, where like in our paper that was hard to do, especially with like the four of us breaking up different
Okay.
sections. It gives you more room to like show all of it.
And also, what I like about the media presentation is that you can add other resources, like
Yeah,
you can
like
have
the videos
links.
and stuff.
If you wanna know more, you can go here. So if somebody's really interested in your topic, they can do further study than just what was there. So, okay, good job. Okay. All right, guys. It's not going to stop. It's never going to stop. It won't stop.